Back-to-back interview time with Mike Barrett of Barrett Insurance and Good Policies. A good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Not bad. You came in here and you wanted to talk about assumption of insurance.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It is an interesting thing because what the heck is that, Mike? You come in here and I haven't even my cup of coffee. I got a new cup. It holds 14 ounces.
And it's still way over in the other room?
My coffee is cold. I haven't even gotten it
man.
inside of me yet. So you come
really,
in here, you
feel
throw a term.
really bad sipping my hot coffee. Hold on.
You throw a term like that at me, and it's like mathematics. It's like extreme calculus. What is it?
It's actually pretty simple. So what we run into a lot is people assume that they have coverage for they either have coverage or coverage on something. Okay, so let's break it down. So let's talk about the assumption of coverage in general. So they think, I've got a leaky roof, so the leak in my roof is going to be taken care of, and my roof is getting replaced.
Okay, that's what they assume.
Why would your roof get replaced? It's an old roof.
It's
not damaged.
But it's leaking. I need it replaced. Right?
Yeah, it'd be awesome if it could be replaced.
That's why I bought Mike. That's why I bought insurance.
That's exactly what we hear. But that's it's interesting. The damage that's going to cause on the inside, yeah, absolutely, that's going to be covered because that's a covered peril because you had a leak in your roof.
Uh-huh.
But the roof being of an age that it can no longer protect you from the elements, that's not a named peril. In fact, it's an exclusion because it has to be a sudden and accidental loss that has occurred. So we're talking a deterioration over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a loss. All right. So that's what we see a lot. We see that one a lot.
You're telling me some bad news here, and
I hate bad news, by the way.
I feel like you're roping us into some despair before you hit us with the good news.
I'm afraid there may not be a lot of good news this morning, but I tried it in my head. I'm like, I really want to just throw it out because these are the types of things that really, I'm an insurance agent and I live and breathe the world of insurance, but does that mean I've had the Kool-Aid? No, I have not had the Kool-Aid. I live and breathe it. So I'm in it all the time. So I see why and how. So I think the purpose of why I wanted to bring this up is that a lot of people have a tendency to talk about how bad insurance is. And the assumption of coverage is why typically that's there. Now, there are instances where I think insurance companies don't give somebody a fair shake in terms of the way a lawsuit is settled, but you have to really have an understanding of what you're getting into. And if you're not understanding that, that's when you're going to have that surprise and that shock and awe that's going to make you really not like insurance. So, I've had people go out and buy a car and leave the dealership, and the dealer says, "We got you covered." And so
they don't have you covered.
No, I've had people call me months later. Hey, I just want to, get an ID card for my blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're what? Well, the dealership told me they were going to call you and tell you about it. I'm like, well, they didn't. And
so it's always good to double check.
You are the person in charge of your policy.
Okay.
And truth be told, when we sell an insurance policy, when we work with somebody, through the process, we're going to educate you as much as you will allow us to. We're going to talk about some of the we're going to set you up for what to expect. And hopefully you won't be shocked if something happens that is not a covered loss. Like water in the basement. A lot of people assume water in the basement is covered because it's damage to my house and it's insurance. But truth be told, groundwater seepage is an exclusion.
Ooh.
Okay. So there's a lot of twists and turns out there. One that I see a lot is auto insurance. Okay. So the basic auto policy, if you have a car with a loan, you're going to have liability coverage on your car, and you're going to have physical damage coverage on your car because that's required by having a loan. So you have liability if you injure somebody, and you've got some protection if your car is damaged through loss, whether it be your own fault or fire or hail, like today possibly, So
we got some winds coming up in a couple days.
Exactly. So
extreme.
that's the basic nuts and bolts. But some companies have embellished coverages that automatically included, but some don't. So some companies may say, oh, and by the way, our contract automatically includes up to $20 a day to rent a car if you have a covered loss. Some companies have zero.
Okay.
So the biggest assumption of coverage we get is, boom, a loss occurs. What do I have for rental reimbursement? Well, did you select it? Well, I'm sure I would have. Well, now you're sure you would have because you don't have a car. But when we talked to you about it, you didn't want it. Maybe that might have been the dialogue that took place. So, or I have a cracked windshield. I'm assuming it's not going to cost me anything. Well, it's going to cost you a comprehensive deductible unless you've chosen a broad glass coverage through the company, which we would offer to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes on, and it's a really tough situation. I myself have been in the situation where I have expected coverage to be in place, and it was not. So it's something that I just thought would throw it out there. The bad part of insurance is when something is a not or a no.
Ooh.
Like, no, that's not covered. I'm sorry, that's not happening.
That's a great thing I love about you, Mike, is that you come in here and you make me feel like $1 million because I got nothing going on up here in terms of insurance whatsoever. So you're coming in here and I'm asking you basically the equivalent of what's 1 + 1, what's 1 + 2, what's 1 + 3, and you go, all right, Mike, it's 2, it's 3, and
let's
it's 4.
tell you why.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike Barrett, if you ever need somebody to get you through the life of insurance, I don't need renter's insurance anymore, by the way.
Why not?
Because because I
all right, real world service.
Oh, hey, yeah. So I recently moved into an apartment with roommates. Do I need renter's insurance?
Yes, because your roommates don't own your stuff, and your roommates don't. If your roommates have renter's insurance, it does not cover you.
Oh.
At all.
So now that
let me
ask you a question.
Assumption of coverage.
Okay, I love it. And here's an assumption of price because I've moved out of a big apartment and I moved into. Dang it!
The rating for a renter's insurance policy is how much coverage you have for contents in proximity to a fire department.
I'm just hoping to get a good deal.
$10 to $12 a month, Mike. Come on.
$10 to $12 a month. I spend that on Red Bulls.
Okay, so one less Red Bull a week and you're good to go, sir.
It's also insane how much those cost. Mike Barrett of Barrett Insurance with good policies, giving me all the information that I didn't know I needed to know, and now I hope you are a little more informed. Mike Barrett, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, sir. And of course, you can always give us a call, 748-5224. Visit our website, thebarrettagency.com, Portland Street, St. Johnsbury. And if you look for Barrett Insurance, you'll find us on Google, Facebook, and YouTube.
And of course, if you're just tuning in right now, you're going to pop this over on YouTube.
Absolutely.
In just a couple minutes.
It'll be on all the things I just mentioned.
All right. Well, hey, I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning. Our final hour is coming up, the 8 o'clock hour. Let's get into music right after this. Quick word from Beans Home.